Hey guys, welcome to Denny's. Today we're going to be jumping into the weekly loot cave for the week of January the 14th up until January the 20th. This week we will see the introduction of Ines Raya, so we're going to have some really good farms. I do want to say we do this every week, so if you guys want to subscribe, if you feel that I've earned it, you'll see the weekly loot cave and other TFT content. Also like the video if it helped you out, but also we're giving away 2 Ines Rayas live on stream on Thursday the 16th. If you guys would like to follow me over there, I'm doing a giveaway for subscribers on Twitch, as well as a follower has a chance to win as well one of the giveaways. So I'd love to see you guys over there, but without waiting too much longer, let's jump right into the weekly loot cave this week. All right, kicking it off with the hype for the week, we've got Ines Raya launching in 2 days. So I'm going to start off with the best farm and the most popular farm of the week. This is going to be the electric and tech reactor farm, as well as electric and singular for the static farm, available in sterile lands located in Rockfall, the anticipated ambush point mission. So this was probably no mistake by Nexon. They want everybody to get their Ines Raya reactor this week. If you want to get it before she launches, do it now, so you don't have to do it whenever you're working on making a build for her. I would highly recommend it. As far as rolls, guys, I'm not going to recommend much. I'm going to recommend some basic ones, but until we get our hands on her, we don't know what absolutely is going to be BIS. There's a good chance that tech damage and Colossus damage is going to be good for bossing, and tech damage and cooldown is going to be good for mobbing. We will have to wait and see to confirm, but those are the ones I'm going to go for as far as my rolls. Keep in mind, I am going for faction rolls as well, so tech boost and faction damage, or cooldown and faction damage, as well as faction damage in general with any kind of boost that I can get, just because that is going to be very strong. The devs themselves even said it. You're going to want to start prioritizing the faction weakness a little bit more when it comes to the ender, or the more in-game content they're adding, so especially with the void erosion. So that is going to be the farm for Ines Raya. Let's jump over to the next one. Next up, we've got a reactor for Blair located in the Agna Desert in Vermilion Waste. This is Fire and Dimension. This is going to be for Blair. This is a Valby outpost farm, so it's a very efficient way to farm reactors. Basically the most efficient way you can get in the game right now as far as how many reactors you get per minute. It's a very, very high amount. It definitely is pretty RNG, but it definitely beats even the best missions. This even is better than Rockfall. Some might argue that, but Valby outpost farming is absolutely absurd, and you don't have to reset the mission every 30 seconds. You can just keep going and going and going. As far as Blair rolls, we're going to keep it pretty basic. I know a lot of people like to not run crit on Blair for some reason. We're not going to talk about that because that's just silly. You're going to want to go for crit damage and Colossus damage if you want to boss with him, although he's not the best bosser right now. And then as far as mobbing, you can go cooldown crit damage, dimension boost crit damage if you want a little bit of extra damage. What I'll personally be going for is probably a little bit of mixture of dimension boost and faction damage, as well as cooldown and faction damage for mobbing, because in the future, whenever they add a weakness to the factions, I would like to make sure that I have that for fire. Although right now that's a bit of a stretch because there is no factions weak to fire. So I digress. But those are my rolls and my recommendations. We'll jump on to the next. All right, now next one up is going to be, once again, I know this is weird, but for Ines Raya, this one is if you're looking for a little bit more of a relaxed farm for Ines Raya, you'll be able to get just the electric tech drop. There is no electric singular drop here, just electric tech. This is going to be available from the Agna Desert in Mirage Stone. Now, this is a Valby outpost farm. So if you're looking to be a little bit more relaxed when you're farming for the reactor, you just kind of want to turn your brain off, go in circles, watch Netflix, whatever you want to do, this is going to be the farm to go to, mainly because obviously you can turn down the range on Valby and endlessly farm, and you'll get a ton of tech reactors. However, again, I would like to emphasize Rockfall is giving singular and electric reactors as well, in case that ends up being good for Ines Raya. So most people will probably want to go that route just to make sure they have good reactors on both sides of the spectrum for her. But I thought I'd mention this one as well. The rolls are the exact same that I recommended before. Just replace the, obviously, well, no, don't replace anything because there's no singular on this one. But yeah, that's it for the reactors for the Valby outpost farm for Ines Raya. And this week for Freyna, Toxic and Tech is dropping from the Agna Desert located in storage. This is going to be an extermination mission, so it's not like a Valby outpost farm, but it's a Freyna reactor nonetheless. Want to make sure to include it in the weekly loot cave. It's the best way to get her reactor this week. It's not like it's the worst in the world. It's actually one of the top extermination missions as far as getting reactors, but this is going to be a week for Freyna. Now, as far as the rolls, we're looking for something along the lines of Tech and Colossus for bossing, as well as Tech and cooldown for mobbing. You could take that cooldown off if you're not worried about it and go for Tech and Toxic. But that is the rolls that I choose for Freyna. Keep in mind, you can also go for the faction rolls as well, cooldown and faction bonus like Immortality for Freyna specifically. But that is going to be this week for Freyna. Again, Agna Desert and the storage. And next up, we've got the Sharen reactor. This week, available from the Echo Swamp, located in Abandoned Zone. Going to be the classic extermination mission. We ran this a lot last week for Ajax and Kyle. This week, it is going to be for Sharen's fusion reactor. Now, as far as rolls on Sharen, there's a few ways that people go. Honestly, this is probably the most broad you can look at for Sharen. A lot of people like cooldown on their reactor. A lot of people don't. I personally like cooldown and crit damage for mobbing with Sharen. Specifically, the most overpowered mobbing build for her is the area suppression build right now. And then as far as bossing, it's crit damage and Colossus damage. If you want to go for that faction damage, it'll definitely do more damage. You can go for the Order of Truth and get yourself the weakness to the truth there, obviously with electric, and then you can get like cooldown or fusion boost or crit damage, whatever you want to do. But that is what I do. And again, a really, really, really good week for Sharen. If you do not have a Sharen reactor, this place is fantastic for gold, Kuiper, everything. And you're going to also get your hands on a Sharen reactor here too. And next up, we've got the reactor for Hailey and Viessa. To be specific, absolute zero Viessa. So this is the chill and singular reactor dropping from Frozen Valley in the fortress. As far as the mission I have on screen, it is the best mission there, except if you want to do the Valby outpost farm. However, Valby will be able to jump whenever she gets her rework here in 2 days. You'll be able to do the outpost farm much more efficiently that way when she's able to jump. Except you'll probably still kill the boss, to be honest with you. So if you want to successfully do the Valby outpost farm in this zone, you're going to need a friend with a Sharen and a very low level reactor from Descendant. That way the Sharen can stun the middle boss without doing any damage to him. This is going to be the most efficient way to get Hailey and Viessa's reactor this week. Unfortunately, unless you want to do the static farm over in Converter Facility. Converter Facility does have a non-attribute and fusion boost reactor farm this week, so it's not a bad idea to look over there if you want to go for a 2-for-1, just because this also drops the, obviously, the Freyna reactor. But as far as rolls, Colossus damage, crit damage, and mobbing, I'm not going to pick one for Hailey because I don't believe she is a mobber, but for Viessa, we're going to go for Order of Darkness and cooldown, or Order of Darkness and crit damage or singular boost. That is mainly because of the new added faction bonus. If you don't want to worry about factions, guys, like me, then just go for cooldown and crit damage, or singular boost and crit damage for Viessa's mobbing reactor. But that is going to be Hailey and Viessa this week. And aforementioned in the previous farm, this is going to be the Fusion non-attribute reactor farm available from the Converter Facility in Fortress, Valby Outpost farm. It's a classic one. Make sure you turn your range down on Valby for this one. You don't need the craziest damage in the world. I recommend turning your damage all the way down as well as your range. That way you don't one-shot the boss in the middle. You can use the strategy that me and Lambo do on stream sometimes. If you want to check me out over on Twitch, you can definitely check me out. You can see sometimes we're doing that, or you can just ask a question and I can answer it and explain how it works. It's kind of in-depth in certain ways, but that is going to be the reactor farm for non-attribute and fusion this week. This is going to be Yujin. This is going to be Valby. Valby substantially has been improved, so we are playing a lot of Valby lately. As far as rolls, we're going for fusion boost and Colossus damage for bossing, or you could do cooldown and Colossus if you want to run the Valby build that I use for my Infernal Walker kills. And as far as Yujin, cooldown and duration is really good. And then Valby mobbing, honestly, you could go any which way. Cooldown fusion boost is a really, really good way to go. That's what I would recommend for sure. Solid week. Another Valby outpost farm for herself, Valby and Yujin. And next up, we've got Ajax and Kyle and Luna. This is specifically probably going to be emphasis on Luna this week because her reworks are coming in the upcoming 2 days. Now, as far as the farm itself, non-attribute tech is dropping from the shipment base in White Knight Gulch. This is a mission that's always been good. It's not incredible like a Valby Outpost farm, but it drops an absolute ton of reactors as long as you make sure to activate all 4 beacons, finish the mission, abort it whenever the beacons are destroyed, and then start again. Not a lot of people know that because it has been a while, and there are a lot of new players, so I wanted to make sure to mention that. If you need help, again, with starting these up and kind of understanding, check me out at my Twitch stream. I'm always answering questions. If you guys want to ask anything, I'm usually able to answer everything. But as far as rolls on Ajax, Kyle, and Luna, you can't go wrong with tech boost and cooldown, as well as tech boost and Colossus damage, as well as tech boost and non-attribute damage. Those are 3 rolls you can aim for and strive for, and they're all going to do you really well. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys would prefer for Luna, as I do not play Luna a whole ton, and I'm looking forward to the rework, so we don't quite know what's going to be best yet, but I imagine some people have a good idea, so definitely let me know in the comments below. Let's jump over to the next one. And lastly, for the less honorable mentions, we've got Lepic. So Lepic is dropping from the hatchery in the White Knight Gulch. This is fire and tech, as well as Esiemo you can get here. This is going to be kind of annoying, kind of sad. You're going to see on screen, it's the farm where you kind of just keep aborting the mission. I got good news. It drops a ton of reactors. The bad news is it's extremely boring, extremely cheesy. It's not much better than a Valby Outpost farm, guys. However, there is no really good farms for Lepic this week pretty much there's none. There's no fire tech ones that are dropping other than the static farm, which is obviously not amazing. And then this one drops a ton of them. So if you have the gall to be able to do this and you want a Lepic reactor or an Esiemo reactor, here you go. I'll tell you right now, if you guys are wanting one and you guys don't want to farm for a very long time, you want to farm these this week, as annoying as it's going to be. This is definitely the week to do it if you're okay with farming the abort missions. But yeah, this is going to be Lepic's reactor. As far as rolls, Colossus and crit or tech. So Colossus plus tech or Colossus plus crit. And then as far as mobbing, cooldown, and fire boost or tech boost is really, really good. Except for on Esiemo, I just go straight up fire and tech boost. That is going to be it for the Lepic reactor this week and Esiemo. And lastly, I would like to talk about Jayber because he is getting his rework in 2 days, so I want to make sure to include him. We're going to talk about the non-attribute Dimension one first and then the non-attribute Singular one. So firstly, non-attribute and Dimension dropping from Destruction in Kingston. This is going to be a way to get it. It's a very solid mission. It's an extermination. It ends very quick. You get a ton of reactors. It's not a Valby outpost farm again, but it's very solid, and I wanted to include one for Jayber, as well as the Singular, because I believe his third ability and fourth ability are going to hit like a truck. Now we're gonna have to wait and see, of course, so don't take that with a grain of salt. But the non-attribute and Singular is dropping from Echo Swamp. This is going to be in the Derelict Covert again. Not the most fantastic place, but the extermination mission there is pretty solid, and you might be able to get away with doing the Freyna abort cheese if you want to. As far as rolls, guys, I'm not going to recommend any rolls for Jayber because we don't know for sure exactly what he's going to want yet. I really don't want to put anything out there that people should go for now. I think this is one we should probably save for Thursday to see what builds are going to be the best on Jayber whenever he gets his rework finally. So yeah, I just wanted to include those, but yeah, that's going to be it for Jayber. And that has pretty much been the video, guys, for the weekly loot cave. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to follow me over on Twitch for the 2 Ines Raya giveaways. I would love to see you guys over there. Also, let me know down in the comments what you think the best farm is this week. I always am curious to know. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night. Super excited for the patch, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace out. Goodbye.